All right, folks, welcome. So I hope you were able to go through the challenge and did it all, and you're happy and you were able to share with your friends, your other fellow students, colleagues here, and with me, all right? Like I said previously, some of the challenges points were very easy, very trivial. You could do that probably in your sleep by now. And some others may have been a little bit tough. And that was intentional, as I said before, right? Because I wanted you to learn to do a little bit of research, trying to figure out on your own. If you were able to do the challenge perfectly, congratulations. Congratulations indeed. And if not, do not worry, because we are going to go through the whole process here and make sure that we make those changes and improvements, at least the first batch of improvements, right? And bear in mind that the way the application looks, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I just want to make sure that you actually get the functionality right. So whatever I'm going to do here, it may change a few things, but as long as your version is actually working, that is fine with me, okay? And you should be fine with that as well. Very good. So the first thing we had here was to change the background color of this application here. That's so easy to where it's almost insulting to show you how to do that. In fact, I'm not even going to change anything. I'm just going to point to where to do it. So here is the background. You can come here and change the background color. No problem. Okay, very good. And the next thing we need to do, that's it. That was easy, wasn't it? That's done. So the next thing we're going to do is to go and find images so we can add inside of our res. So we can drawable here, and then we can invoke those in our activity XML so that we can see differences in our images that we are seeing on our app. Now, again, it's one of those cases that I ask you to go online and find different images that will represent, for instance, the next button. But in the beginning, I want you to go and get something different than this icon that we have here of Android. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see, right? So to your liking, you could go and find something else. But the idea here was to get you to go and find an image or create your own image, then put in your drawables here, and then in code, go and invoke that image so that it shows here. Now, whatever you did, I'm very confident that you were able to do that, and congratulations. But I'm going to show you something really cool here. So because Android is such a big platform and there's a lot going on, and the Android team at Google, they do such an amazing job to give us all the resources that we want so that our development time and our development process is as enjoyable as possible. They actually have a few websites that where you can go and get all these different kinds of icons. So if we go to Google, and I'm going to go ahead and say Android icons, hit enter like that, you're going to see this icons material design. So material.io tools icons. So click on that. The moment you click on that, you will see this awesome website. Now on this website here, there's all these sort of icons that you can actually download and put in your projects and then invoke those into your application, right? So that's really cool. So there's all sort of things. Keep in mind, some of these you can also find depending on the level of your Android API that we're using in our project. But most of these are easy to use. You can download them and put in your drawables and then use them that way. Okay, but there's one particular thing that's very interesting. If you click in one, look what happens at the bottom here. Maybe you can't quite see everything. Okay, it says SVG. Okay, but if you click on the select icon, click on that, this happens. So we have the PNG format and SVG. We want the PNG, but most importantly, notice that we have here these options. So we have the dark options or the white option. Okay, so you can choose which one you want. So when you download the PNG in this case, then you can go and get the file and put in our drawable so that we can invoke all that stuff. Now the beauty also here, you will see when we download, you will see there's different versions of the same icon. The reason that happens is because Android being so fragmented, meaning there's different kind of devices out there, different sizes and so forth, that comes with challenges, as we've spoke before. And the main challenge is that the images that we have as assets or as drawables, they will have to adapt to the screen in which they're running. Meaning, if you're running on a lower pixel density device, then you would have to make sure that the app goes and fetches the correct asset or the correct image. If you're running on a higher resolution device, then also the app will automatically know how to go and get the correct resolution. So the higher one, so that it doesn't look pixelated, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that is one particularity and that I wanted to show you. And of course, we're going to talk about in more details at a later time about how all of this works, how the different pixel density applications or devices work and how do we then manage all of that. Very good. So what are we looking for here? First of all, I'm just looking for a next and previous button. So we can go ahead and scroll up and down until we find it, or we can just go to, say, Command F, okay, or Control F, and I'm going to say next. As you see there, next, and keep going. There it is. There's these two buttons that say next. I kind of like these two. So I'm going to do the navigate before and navigate next. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one, click. And now I'm going to go to SVG. And what I need actually is white. I want white to show. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. Let that download. And I'm going to do the same thing with navigate before. Again, the same thing. I want it white and download PNG. Now, if you go ahead and show in Finder here, you can see we have these two archives that are showing here. So if I double click this one here, we have this 1.x and 2x, right? So what these are, well, like I said, for devices that are lower pixel density, the Android is going to go and find this file when it's time to show the item or this icon. And if for bigger ones, it's going to show this one. So what we need to do now is copy these images and put in our project. But now you notice our drawable is just showing these two items, which are actually transformed into XML. The trick that we need to do here to add our own items or our own images, we need to change the view here. So at the top, you can see we have this Android view, but we need to change this to project view. Now, project view shows all other folders or packages that we sometimes are not very interested in, but this is a better view because we can see all sort of things here. Okay. So if you're looking at this, you're probably going to see everything like this closed. In fact, you're going to see close as that. Okay. So we're going to have to probe into our application, go to our app, gonna go to resources, let's go to main, let's go to resources, there we go, and now we have drawable and drawable version 24. So these are different kinds of drawables, but they are the same, but different folders depending on the resolution of our items. But then also you have here the MIP map, any Android, so you can put all of the items for any Android device here, as it says. So this is what icons you can see. If you double click, you can see this is the drawable that we're talking about, the Android icon there. Okay, and this is HTTP, which means it's bigger. Click there. There we go. That's in a PNG format, and you can keep going HD, if you will, version. So click that. You can see there it is. Okay. These are for launcher icons. So what we're going to do now is add our items, our new icons into these two folders here. So now if we go back to look at what we have, there we go. So we have these two baselines. They're not same size. They're actually bigger. So that was 18. This is 36. So twice as big. So that's good. So what we're going to do here for the number 1x, so the smaller kind, I'm going to drag it and put in the first one there. And this happens to say, okay, we are adding something there. Click OK. OK. There we go. Now we can see our baseline navigate next. And going back, we're going to go and grab the second one here. We're going to put in this other folder here. Okay. Now, if you put in the same one, it's not going to do any damage really, but it's always a good idea to put in the right places because the Android system, when it runs, depending on which device it's running on, it's going to know which folder to access to get this same item. But also notice that both of them have the same name. It just has different things appended to it and the sizes are different. So if you double click, you should see there it is, our image. Double click this one, there it is as well. Okay, the sizes of course are different. This is 16-bit and the other one was different. So let me get rid of this. So that one, 32-bit, 16-bit. See the difference there? Okay, very good. So now we have those two. How do we then get them to show in our application? So this here, the first one is what? Next. So it has to be for this one. So I'm going to double click here. And instead of using this drawable IC media from Android namespace, I'm going to get rid of all of that. In fact, I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to say drawable. Look at this. I can go ahead and get the next button like this. And the moment you do that, you can see it is there, our next icon. Right? So let's save this and give a quick run. We should see this changing in a second here. And look at that. Okay? There it is, our icon showing nicely. Very good. So we're able to add the first icon into our application, our project, and reference it as you saw here. So in the next video, we're going to actually create another button here because that's part of our challenge that will say previous. All right? Perfect. See you next.